Greetings to all of you. I want to talk today about the upcoming solstice on December 21st and the energies of that solstice. But I also want to talk about it in the context of some of the very powerful astrological configurations that are going on now, and we will be experiencing very intense energies now through the end of March. And these energies will carry through into some of the themes that we will be experiencing throughout 2025. As we talk about the energies of this upcoming solstice, and for us in the Northern Hemisphere, it will be the winter solstice. For those in the Southern Hemisphere, it will be the summer solstice. And the solstice is related to our cycle, our experience across the year with our journey with the sun as it moves from its time of, for us in the north, the time of the winter solstice is the time of the most darkness, the shortest day and the longest night. For those in the southern hemisphere, they're actually experiencing the opposite of that. The summer solstice with the most light and the shortest night. We go through this journey with the sun and this dance of light and dark across the year. And it's interesting that at the times of the solstices, those energies are at their opposite in the northern and southern hemispheres. But when we have the experience of the equinoxes in March and in September, our day and night are in balance here in the northern hemisphere, and that's also true in the southern hemisphere. So in a way, as we journey with this experience through the year, we're in the dance of duality, of light and dark. And I think that that experience of duality that we have here on the earth plane is a key theme in what we're dealing with, not only at the time of this solstice, but in these ongoing powerful energies with Mars in opposition with Pluto. And as we move into January, we'll also experience Mars in its opposition with the sun. We're in this time on the planet where we're in a time of profound shift as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, which is really accelerating now since Pluto's full movement into Aquarius at the end of November. We're at the end of one precessional cycle and the beginning of a new one. And as I've been talking about, we're also in the context of the Yuga cycle, which is the Hindu version of the precessional cycle. We're coming to the end of the phase of the Kali Yuga at the end of March 2025, and our movement into accelerated ascension, into accelerated higher consciousness. So we are experiencing this dance of light and dark on the planet in so many ways right now. So many of us are talking about this movement into higher consciousness and how we are feeling more and more that transition into being homoluminous ones, beings of light, moving out of our time of Kali Yuga, of darkness, of ignorance, back into remembrance of the ancient wisdom and a movement into higher consciousness and reopening our spiritual awareness to higher dimensions and to other ways of knowing and being. However, as we're in this profound transition time, we're experiencing the backlash to that increasing consciousness, and we're seeing some of the darkest of the dark of humanity on the planet right now. And part of what I want to talk about as we deal with this time of the solstice is how can we hold that experience of our movement into more light and love and higher consciousness at the same time that we're experiencing and witnessing so much darkness on the planet. And I think this solstice can guide us and bring us some wisdom about that. And I also think that this dance that we're in with Mars and the transformation that Mars is experiencing in its own journey can be a profound guide to us in that process. So, as we move into this time of the solstice, let me show you the chart. So here is the chart of the solstice, and here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is our winter solstice. And part of what is significant is that the sun at 29 degrees of Sagittarius is in alignment with the galactic center at the time of our solstice. This is related to where we are in the precessional cycle, but it's profound that it is at this time of the winter solstice here in the north, summer solstice in the south, that the sun is aligning with the galactic center and bringing those cosmic energies powerfully to us on the earth plane in this time. These energies of the galactic center are such a reminder to us to come back into alignment with Source. And as we're experiencing this time of darkness here in the Northern Hemisphere, this time of the year is a time to go within, to be in our own inner process, to honor how the earth has pulled in her energy, to be in this time of hibernation and incubation, to be seeding and preparing for the new life to come with the spring. So at this time of the winter solstice, it's important for us here in the north to be going deep within and aligning with our connection with Source, with cosmic consciousness. And it's profound that we continue to have this powerful square with Neptune that was also powerfully a part of our full moon on December 15th. This means that this is a time for us to be dreaming these new ways of being that we're trying to move into as we move through this time of solstice, darkness towards the spring, but also as we're in this profound transition time collectively. So I think this solstice time is a powerful time to be meditating and allowing yourself to pay attention to your dreams, but to be very clear about what you want to seed in the collective consciousness. Remember that what is powerful in this time of transition is the capacity of our consciousness, is our ability as we visualize the new earth and visualize these new paradigms of the Aquarian age, we are supporting them in being seeded and growing in the collective consciousness. So as we here in the north are in this time of darkness, let us really honor this as a time of dreaming, a time of visualizing what we want to see as we move into this new year. And for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, where you're experiencing this powerful time of the most light, with the energies from the sun and galactic center beaming to you powerfully, allow yourselves to use this sun square Neptune to be emanating that light and clarity of our movement into higher consciousness, into the collective consciousness. The more that we are emanating those energies into the collective consciousness, the more we are affecting the morphogenic field of our global community and supporting the healing and the transformation that we need on the planet in this time. It's also significant that we have a grand square at the time of this solstice, with the moon in Virgo squaring Jupiter in Gemini, Saturn in Pisces, and Mercury in Sagittarius. As I talked about with the energies of the full moon, this opposition of Jupiter and Mercury in each other's signs that they rule. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, Mercury of Gemini. We're really being guided to look at our beliefs and to open to new ways of understanding and open to how we can integrate our left brain ways of knowing with our right brain ways of knowing. Remember also that Mercury is the messenger, bringing us the wisdom of the sun as it's moving now away from the sun and coming into visibility just on the horizon before sunrise. So it's guiding us to absorb the light and wisdom of the sun, which is activating our pineal glands and supporting us in moving into this higher consciousness. And I think this opposition of Saturn in Pisces, are needing to be grounded in our connection with spirit, is supporting us, Moon in Virgo, in how we can bring our energy out in discernment and in service to others. So we're being called to reshape our beliefs, to move into these new ways of seeing and knowing, to be able to be grounded in spirit and being of service to others. It's also significant that we have this ongoing opposition of Pluto and Mars, now Mars in Leo, opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And I want to talk more about that cycle in a few minutes. But let's take a moment to look at where the energies of this sun at the time of the solstice is in the sky. Here you can see that the sun is close to the stars of Sagittarius in the sky, between the constellation of Sagittarius and Ophiuchus. And this is where we experience our view of the galactic center from the Earth. So the sun is in that alignment with the galactic center, under the stars of Ophiuchus, the great healer, and near the stars of the archer, who's keeping that focus and gaze on source. So this is a powerful time where the sun is beaming that energy to us about how we can heal, come into alignment with source, and be in this profound time of transformation. I think it's interesting that as we experience the summer solstice here in the north and the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, at that time the sun is here close to the stars of Taurus and at the upraised arm of Orion. This is the area in the sky that is called the galactic anticenter. It is in the sky opposite our galactic center. And I think it's interesting that this is where Orion is, that constellation that is so symbolic of our journey as humanity in our evolution of consciousness on the planet. So there's an ongoing theme here of how do we align with source, but also honor this journey that we're in on the earth plane and our own cycle of growth and evolution in consciousness on the planet. Again, there's this theme of duality, and how do we deal with that dance of our deep connection with source and the way in which in our own journey as humanity we go through these times of experiencing more separation from source, disconnection from that understanding of our interconnectedness with all that is, our oneness with cosmic consciousness. And that is where we are in the precessional cycle right now, in the Hindu Yuga cycle. We're coming out of that time, the Kali Yuga, of the most separation and disconnection from source, that time of forgetting who we truly are, separating from our connection with cosmic consciousness, and forgetting that we are spiritual selves having a human experience. We've gotten caught in identification with our mortality, with scientific materialism, with this experience on the earth plane, forgetting that this is a hologram and that our being here is a place to experience being in form in order to be in our ongoing expression of our soul selves and our connection with cosmic consciousness. So the journey with the solstices through the year are about that journey of light and dark, of connection with source, and our journey to the opposite part of the sky where we're farthest from the galactic center, and then coming back into connection. This is our journey as humanity. And part of what's important as we're in this profound time of accelerating consciousness is coming back to that remembrance of the whole journey so that we can come to center and stay in that alignment with who we are as spiritual beings having a human experience, and then work this journey in a more conscious way. As I talked about in my conversation with Keone Hanalei, this is a profound time in the precessional cycle where, as we're moving through the ending of the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, we're needing to reflect on this journey through the past ages, and particularly how it is at the end of the age of Taurus into the age of Aries that we moved more fully into the patriarchal period and into the time of the Kali Yuga, the time of forgetting, the time of imbalance, the time of disconnecting from source. And I believe in particular that it's in the age of Aries, ruled by Mars, that we have gotten most out of balance. And as Keone and I discussed, we need to heal and rebalance our relationship with Mars and the age of Aries to be able to rebalance our experience of the age of Pisces and glean the gifts of that age to move into the age of Aquarius in a balanced way, to access the true meaning of the age of Aquarius, which is about ascending consciousness, coming back into right balance and right relationship with the earth and sky, with the life around us, with each other, to be living in collaboration, in creativity, in community, to reclaim that sovereignty of the self in sacred community and in alignment and unity with cosmic consciousness. We need to heal and rebalance Mars. So it's profound as we're moving out of this phase of the Kali Yuga. We're in these powerful transits with Pluto opposite Mars, transforming Mars and our experience and understanding of Mars. And let's talk a little bit more about that cycle. On January 3rd, 2025, we will have the exact opposition of Pluto opposite Mars. As I said earlier, they've been in this dance within a 5-degree orb with each other from November 3rd, initially with Mars in Cancer opposite Pluto in Capricorn. They'll continue in this opposition through April 27th, 2025. But this is the time of their exact opposition. So it's speaking to the true meaning of this time of Pluto's opposition with Mars. And I do see this as Mars being transformed by the energy of Pluto. to guide us in how our personal will, Mars, is in alignment with divine will, Pluto. Remember that these challenging aspects between Pluto and Mars, the squares, the oppositions, the conjunction, are times where we can either experience that transformation of our self-expression, of our understanding of power, of our expression of our individual will, our personal will. It can be either an unconscious expression, which becomes the shadow aspects of Pluto and Mars, which can be abuse of power. It can be acting out in destructive, violent ways. It can be about traumatization and chaos and crisis. But when we're working with these energies consciously, the deeper meaning is about how are we transforming our individual self-expression to be in alignment with Source, to be in alignment with divine will, Pluto, that higher octave of Mars that is helping our actions be in right relationship with our awareness of our soul selves and our connection with cosmic consciousness. So this Mars opposite Pluto, with Mars at 1 degree of Leo, is helping us redefine how we experience that Mars energy, to heal it and transform it from the ways it's been so out of balance in the patriarchal period, that it has been about conquest, destruction, power over, traumatization, abuse of power, to how it can come back into alignment so that Mars is an expression of ourselves from the heart, Leo, and with our personal will now back in alignment with, transformed by our connection with cosmic consciousness and divine will. Let's talk a minute about the cycle of Pluto with Mars. Everything from an astrological perspective is about cycles. We don't move through time and our experience in some kind of linear way. Everything is cyclical. It's about our journey, our evolution of consciousness as we're in the dance with these different planets and with the sun and with the moon. We experience this solar cycle across our year. We experience the lunar cycle each month. And we experience these planetary cycles as they're in their own journeys together. And this Pluto-Mars cycle started in February of 2024 with Mars exactly conjunct Pluto at 0 degrees of Aquarius. It was guiding us to be looking at how we're transforming our experience of Mars to move into these Aquarian paradigms. Pluto was challenging Mars to be in the cauldron of transformation, to come into the Aquarian paradigms of collaboration, mutuality, justice, truth, acceptance of diversity, how we can come back into balance with each other and with all of life. The meaning, the Sabian symbol of that degree of 0 degrees of Aquarius was about building new structures in community, moving into these Aquarian paradigms. So February 14th, 2024, when they were exactly conjunct, and interesting that it's February 14th, Valentine's Day, we're being guided into how we can reconfigure our understanding of Mars, of our actions, of our understanding of power, to come into these Aquarian paradigms and build new structures in community. The journey then moves through that conjunction to the first square of Pluto and Mars. which is the crisis of action. It's about how do we actually then manifest, begin to put into form the meaning of this journey, of the transformation of Mars, of how we're meant to act and be in the world. At that time, Mars was squaring Pluto in that first square with Pluto at 1 degree of Aquarius, Mars at 1 degree of Taurus. And the Sabian symbol for Mars at 1 degree of Taurus is an electrical storm. How is our expression of our authenticity triggering this energy of lightning? Pluto's continued to be in these early degrees of Aquarius, but Mars is now 1 degree of Taurus. How are we putting into action these new forms and structures of the Aquarian age? This cycle of Pluto and Mars is supporting us in moving into these new paradigms. And I think it's interesting that the Sabian symbol is about an electrical storm, lightning, both in the sense that this is the energy of expressing our actions in a way that is about the light and energy coming to our planet, being activated by these energies of lightning. But it can also be, if it's not worked consciously, that lightning that is associated with the storminess and with our being in crisis or in chaos. So again, when we're in that square of Mars with Pluto, it's calling us to work that energy consciously and not act out of the shadow aspects of that square. Now we're at the opposition of Pluto and Mars, moving into that exact opposition on January 3rd, with that opposition with Mars now at 1 degree of Leo. And the Sabian symbol for that degree is about how small events have widespread implications. When we're in that opposition of Pluto with Mars, this is about getting clarity about what this journey has been about. What is this transformation about, and how is it meant to manifest? Just like the full moon is the time of full clarity in the lunar cycle, in a planetary synodic cycle, that opposition is the time of things coming into fullness and into clarity and into form. So it started with this energizing of new structures in the Aquarian paradigms, moving through this crisis of bringing light and authenticity into how we're taking action, to now coming into fullness at the time of this opposition. Pluto opposite Mars at 1 degree of Leo. How are we realizing that all of our self-expression, Mars and Leo, every action that we take has implications? I think it's important for us to realize in this profound time of transformation that every action that we take, our thoughts, our dreams, our intentions, how we focus our energy, is all affecting the morphogenic field, is all affecting the collective consciousness. The veils between the worlds are thin right now. We are feeling more and more our interconnectedness with each other, globally, psychically, on every level. So it's really important to know that even though we have no control over events happening halfway around the globe, how we act, how we channel our energy is impacting that morphogenic field and the collective consciousness in how it takes shape and form everywhere around the globe. So as we're experiencing this opposition of Pluto and Mars, honor the importance of your own self-expression, Mars in Leo. Are you acting from your heart? Are you acting from your authentic self? Are you expressing your own uniqueness in the world and bringing in your energy to activate these Aquarian paradigms that are about balance, harmony, right relationship with each other? Remember that our energy goes where our intentions are. So our thoughts, what we visualize, shapes how we act and the energy that we emanate into the collective consciousness. So as we're experiencing this movement into the Mars opposite Pluto, let us honor how we're bringing to more full clarity how we are aligning our soul self with our personality self to be acting from that deeper alignment and truth, to be living from the heart and bringing that energy into the collective consciousness. Then, as we continue in this cycle with Pluto and Mars, we will come to the third quarter square of Pluto squaring Mars on September 24th, 2025, with Pluto 1 degree of Aquarius and Mars now at 1 degree of Scorpio. I think it's very interesting that in this journey of this synodic cycle with Pluto and Mars, Mars will be coming into these powerful configurations with Pluto in each of the 4 fixed signs, guiding us through that journey of transformation. And the meaning, the Sabian symbol, the meaning of 1 degree of Scorpio is about the importance to reflect on the past as we move forward in new ways. Remember that the third quarter of a planetary cycle is the crisis in consciousness. This is where we're reflecting on the journey. What has it meant? How have we experienced this process? How do we distill the wisdom and the learning we're meant to integrate from this journey? And with Mars at 1 degree of Scorpio, I think it's guiding us to reflect on our journey with Mars across these past 5,000 years of the patriarchal period, to reflect on how Mars has gotten so out of balance, to reflect on the deeper meaning of Mars, which is about our journey of self-expression in alignment with cosmic consciousness, so that we are experiencing our own creative fractal of cosmic consciousness to bring it out in service to others. That Mars in Scorpio is calling us to burn away any other ways that Mars is out of balance within us, to reflect on the damage and the consequences of that Mars energy being out of balance and caught in abuse, power over, destruction, conquest, to move forward in new ways, more fully integrating these energies of Pluto and Aquarius and the Aquarian paradigms. And then we will start a new cycle with Pluto and Mars coming into conjunction in January of 2026, with both of them at 3 degrees of Aquarius, which I think is more fully activating how we can be continuing to move forward in manifesting these Aquarian paradigms. So this whole journey with Mars and its dance with Pluto is so powerfully guiding us through how we can heal these distortions of Mars from the past and work through this cauldron of transformation to be burning away the power over paradigms of the past, the patriarchal paradigms that have been so damaging to all of us. We all have those energies of the sacred masculine and sacred feminine within us. And when Mars gets out of balance in that way, and the energies of the sacred masculine are operating now out of the shadow aspects of Mars, not the true meaning of Mars, it wounds all of us. We all experience then the traumatization and the consequences of imbalance of Mars, of power over, of abuse, of destruction, of violence, of traumatization. So we're profoundly being supported in transforming, healing, and realigning that Mars energy now in a very profound way as we're moving into 2025. And it is highly significant that we experience this exact opposition of Pluto and Mars on January 3rd of 2025. And then on January 15th of 2025, Mars, in its 26-month cycle with the sun, will be opposite the sun. So Mars will be exactly opposite Pluto on January 3rd, and then will be exactly opposite the sun on January 15th or 16th, depending on where you are on the globe. And let me show you that chart. At that time, Mars will be opposite the sun, and it will be at 26 degrees of Cancer, opposite the sun at 26 degrees of Capricorn. And as I mentioned in an earlier video, this is the profound time in Mars' cycle with the sun, where it is the closest to the Earth, the brightest in the sky. And in its journey with the sun, this is the time of Mars transformation. And it's coming into its full clarity and awareness of who it is. This is the culmination of the hero's journey of exploration, separation from source, the sun, to come into its time of greatest brightness in its transformation, in its understanding of itself, which is about the realization that I've been on this journey of exploration and discovery, but the true meaning of who I am is a soul self having this individual journey of exploration to learn and grow and evolve, to come into that light of awareness that I am a soul self having this earthly experience, to bring that out in service to others and back into connection with the sun and with the light of consciousness, of cosmic consciousness. And as we experience this phase of Mars' journey now in its relationship with the sun at 26 degrees of Cancer, the meaning of that degree is a storm in a canyon, facing a crisis philosophically, remembering the impermanence of power, of social status, of coming into a new sense of self. And let me show you where Mars will be in the sky at that time. Mars will be opposite the sun at this profound time of its transformation and coming more fully into the light of awareness of its journey of who it is and who it's meant to be on January 15th or 16th, here, right next to Pollux and the stars of Gemini. Remember that Castor and Pollux, the twins, the stars of the constellation of Gemini, are about duality, are about the light and dark, are about mortality and immortality. In the Greek story of Castor and Pollux, they were twins but had different fathers, and Castor was mortal, Pollux was a demigod, son of Zeus. So Pollux was immortal while Castor was mortal. And they grow up and they're very close as brothers. And one version of the story is that Castor gets killed in battle. And Pollux then pleads to Zeus that he be able to grant some of his immortality to his brother. So Pollux gifts his brother with some of his immortality, and now they both share part of their journey of life in mortality here on the earth plane, part in their immortality in the sky and in the stars together, so that they're able to continue their journey as brothers and not be separated from each other. What a powerful story that is of how Pollux, with this gift of immortality, gives of himself and that gift to be of support to his brother. At this time of Mars opposite the sun, facing this philosophical crisis around how we work with power, how we realize that these power over paradigms are impermanent, they are dying. How we realize that the ways in which we strive for conquest, competition, social status, to elevate ourselves above others is impermanent. These are the power over paradigms of the patriarchal period that are dying as we move into the Aquarian age and as we move out of the Kali Yuga. And this profound time with Pluto opposite Mars is guiding us in that cauldron of transformation to come into this new form of self-expression, of experiencing Mars. And then this opposition of Mars with the sun is saying, realize we're in a stormy time, a storm in a canyon, but it is about the ending of those old forms and the movement into the light of awareness of what Mars's journey is really about and how we, like Pollux, can share our gifts with others. Those of us who are already feeling the energy of higher consciousness can share that with those who are struggling. We can emanate that into the collective consciousness to be supporting the healing and transformation of the planet out of these destructive paradigms of violence, war, abuse of power, into alignment with healing and the expression of our will in alignment with divine will, in alignment with being in balance and harmony with each other and all of life. I believe as we're moving through this solstice and into the energies of January 2025, this is a profound time to be consciously claiming these energies of Aquarius, to be very aware of how we act, Mars. And are we allowing those energies of Mars that have been so out of balance in our collective consciousness to heal and transform, and to reflect on how in our own lives we need to burn away the patterns of the past in how we've been experiencing those shadow aspects of Mars in our own lives to come through this time of transformation and reclaim that alignment of our personalities and our actions and our self-expression with our soul selves, with our alignment with cosmic consciousness. This is such a profound time, and it is important to know that these energies of the sky and of Mars and Pluto, of the sun, of the galactic center are guiding us through this portal of transformation, this death, rebirth into new ways of being. It's a chaotic time It's a stormy time, but it's a profound time of transformation and of reshaping who we are, how we act, how we do this dance of duality here on the earth plane. When we reclaim Mars in its rightful energy, then we experience that joy of our own creative expression coming from our soul's wisdom and understanding of connection with Source, to be of service to others, to be in right relationship with each other and all of life. And then that Mars energy is about our each being a fractal, a creative expression of cosmic consciousness. It's no longer about competition, conquest, destroy or be destroyed, kill or be killed. It's no longer about fear and survival mentality or the effort to be having power over others. It becomes about empowerment within ourselves and power with and for each other. And that experience of our power coming from alignment with Source, with cosmic consciousness. Let us be in this journey of duality as we move through the solstice, as we honor these oppositions of Mars with Pluto and Mars with the Sun, to be consciously co-creating these Aquarian paradigms together, emanating that energy of light and love and higher consciousness into the collective consciousness to support the healing of this energy of Mars and the out of balanced energy of the age of Aries to come back into harmony and to move together into these Aquarian paradigms and into a new earth. Blessings and love to all of you. Blessed be.